Hiya, folks. It's Carmen, the Star Lady here. Welcome to my inaugural video. So as I explained in my introductory video a little bit about myself, I'm looking to explore some of the esoteric practices like astrology and tarot and use those as tools to help make sense of where we find ourselves on our journey. So with this first video, I am looking to explore some of the archetypes that the planets are speaking to for the month of August 2025. Just as a kind of framing for you, I use Hellenistic astrology. So that's the astrology the ancient Greeks used, probably mixed in with a little Babylonian astrology in there as well. So I use whole sign houses. Each sign is connected to a house in your birth chart. And I can talk a little bit more about what that looks like as we go along on this channel. But just to give you that framework that we're using Hellenistic houses and framing for the astrology on this channel. So anyway, let's get into it. So we have the month of August. I wanted to speak first to the full and the new moon. So on August 9th, we're going to be having a full moon in the sign of Aquarius. And what this could look like for you is kind of the fulfilling or the expression of any seeds you planted back on the 29th of January when we had our new moon in Aquarius. So as you can see, we're now into August, so 6 months later, we're having that full moon. So whatever was kind of going on for you at that time, at the end of January of this year, you might see some of that coming to fruition, coming to fulfillment in this full moon in Aquarius on the 9th of August. And then we have a new moon on August 23rd, and this is in the sign of Virgo. So wherever you might find Virgo in your chart, you're going to sense probably some new beginnings around some of those themes. There is an intentionality with this, an awareness piece, just noticing kind of new seeds being planted in that area. So for instance, Virgo's in my 9th house, and the 9th house has to do with philosophy and beliefs, religious practice, also long distance travel. So there is likely some things that I'm going to start seeing, some seeds being planted around those themes in my life. And wherever you find Virgo in your chart, likely there'll be some new beginnings around those themes for you. So paying attention to that. So with the new and the full moon, I'm excited because in September we've got some eclipses coming, so we can talk a little bit about that in September when the time comes. So looking at August, on the 6th of August, we have Mars moving into Libra. And this is interesting because Mars moving into Venus's sign in Libra, he is looking to enact things around Venus's themes. So Venus represents harmony and love and creativity and connection and relationship. And so Mars will be working for those purposes for the month of August and into some of September as well. What's interesting is that Mars in Libra, he's actually in his detriment. And which means he's not able to function to his full capacity in his own way. Mars is very kind of courageous and assertive and out there and going to get things done. And Venus is more like, let's sit down and have a conversation and let's talk about our feelings and do that type of thing. And so there's a softness to Venus that's Mars struggles a little bit with because he's about the doing and let's get the thing done. But what you will be noticing likely, depending on where Libra is in your chart, and I'll likely do a video to talk about the different houses and the themes around those houses. But with Mars in Libra, he's going to be at her beck and call. He's going to be following her house rules. And so Mars will be about bringing in, being active around engaging relationships and harmony and pursuing creativity, and also balance and fairness. So we'll see some of that over the coming weeks with Mars in Libra. I wanted to speak with Venus. Venus is currently in the sign of Cancer. Cancer is a sign that speaks to the home, speaks to relationships, can speak to the mother, can speak to siblings, specifically sisters, but hospitality and welcoming and being together. And Venus is hanging out in this sign, and Venus rules women, sisters, and is about those harmonious connections. So she's hanging out in a pretty comfortable place for her. She enjoys being in Cancer. And she's also co-present with Jupiter. And Jupiter in Cancer is exalted. Jupiter is about bringing healing, is about structure, is about expansion, blessings. Both Venus and Jupiter are the benefics, which mean they're about those themes in our lives that can bring joy and healing and wholeness and those types of things. So both of the benefics are hanging out in Cancer right now. And they're going to be conjoined on the 12th of August. And so this is a really kind of encouraging transit that's happening. We have both the benefics working in tandem, working together to see harmony, to see joy, to see pleasure, to see good things and blessings being expanded. So maybe mark that day in your calendar to see what area of your life that type of blessing will be showing up for you. Then I wanted to speak to the 25th of August. We have Venus moving into Leo. So she's moving into a fiery sign. So maybe some passion around Venusian themes like creativity, maybe a bit more of a drive around those themes. So when a planet changes signs, this is actually pretty significant for us. And it depends what sign they're going into. Mars in Libra, I talked about Mars being in detriment, like he's not able to function to his full capacity. That doesn't mean he doesn't function, he does, but he does it according to the ruler of the house, Venus's rules. And so Venus is in Cancer and moving into Leo, and there isn't any change in her dignity. That means she's able still to function fully as herself. There's still relationships she has with the moon who rules Cancer and the sun who rules Leo, but there isn't any kind of really strong restriction on Venus as she's showing up in these spaces. But you might notice a shift around the themes that Venus brings to you and to your life around relationships with women, around creativity and pleasure. Yes, so there could be some changes coming there for you. As well, when Venus moves into Leo, she's actually going to, on the 27th of August, be in an opposition to Pluto. So an opposition is a bit more of a tense relationship between the planets. And so what you might be noticing, Pluto being god of the underworld, there might be some deeper themes coming up for you around those topics, those Venusian topics around love. You might be having a deeper conversation with your partner about an issue that's coming up. You could find yourself exploring things kind of more on an intimate and physical level, something that you hadn't explored before, or conversations around that type of thing. And so there's a Venus-Pluto opposition or any type of engagement with them often will bring up these types of themes for us. It can be quite cathartic and releasing. There could also be difficulty, like difficult conversations around topics, children or family members, around creativity. But in remembering, whenever these tensions do come up for us, that this is an opportunity for us to ask what as opposed to why. What can these conversations show me? What can they open up for me in opposition to why are we having this conversation and why is this happening? Sometimes we don't always get the answers to the why, but with what, there's a lot more that is able to be explored with a what question, to show up with a curiosity. And it's interesting because when Venus goes into Leo, Mercury is going to be present there. So there could be some curiosity, some wondering, some imagining about these conversations or these experiences we're having in our life. Mercury is very curious about the world and why things are the way they are. And so maybe tapping into some of Mercury energy for this Venus-Pluto opposition. And I just wanted to note as well that Mercury will be stationing direct on the 11th of August. So as of right now, I'm recording this on the 1st of August. So Mercury is retrograde. And often when Mercury is retrograde, we experience confusion in our communication or miscommunication. Often it's an invitation to finish projects previously started, not finished. It's not a good time to start something new. There can be frustration in our communication and even in our thoughts and the way that we're processing information as well. Mercury rules like the marketplace, so there can be some issues around doing business, so to speak. If you're signing any contracts, I would read the fine print really carefully and make sure you have all your questions answered, all your T's crossed and your I's dotted during Mercury retrograde. So Mercury will thankfully be going stationing direct on the 11th of August, but there's a shadow period. So up until about 2 weeks after Mercury stations direct, there could still be some cloudiness or confusion that you could experience, just to be aware. So I think with knowing about the archetypes of these types of transits and whatnot can help inform us as we navigate the world. If we're encountering like resistance or difficulty in something, understanding that, oh, so-and-so didn't understand what I said, that's likely a theme that's going to be showing up. So I have to maybe ensure that what I'm communicating is actually received. Or, it's, those communications around those topics of relationships or creativity that will need to be revisited or sat with to better understand what's actually going on for you. So a lot of activity in the skies this month. I will be looking to do some horoscopes for you in the coming days and weeks around Mars and Venus. And so I hope you come back and you check that out. And again, any feedback you have to offer is greatly appreciated. Any questions you have, I love engagement. So I am hoping that it is a blessed month for you and that you have a wonderful August. Okay, we'll see you in the next one.